Hi everyone. This video will review the requirements for the Digital Footprint Self-Audit and Action Plan assignment. This assignment is worth 15% of your final grade and is due midnight Sunday at the end of week 2. In this assignment, you're going to examine what's called your digital footprint. This refers to information about you that exists online through social media platforms, postings, shared content, and other online activity that you've engaged in. The steps that you're going to follow in this assignment will mirror what employers often do when researching candidates. Employers frequently search applicants online to assess their professional image, particularly for roles involving client interaction. It's likely when you begin applying for practicum opportunities, employers will search for you online, and they will certainly do that if you're applying for a job. So this assignment is designed to help you evaluate your online presence and prepare you to support clients in managing theirs. Your analysis will be about 3 pages long, double-spaced, size 12 font, not including the cover page or bibliography or the screenshot, and I'll explain in a moment what you're going to do with that. So this includes information you provide in Part A and your responses to the questions in Part B. There's no need to do any additional research for this assignment. You may refer in your written analysis to some of the materials provided on this topic in the course, but this is optional. Please write all responses in your own words. Generative ChatGPT, as we've discussed in previous assignments and in previous courses, may not be used for this assignment to write your own wording. You can use AI tools to do grammar and spelling checks only, grammar and spelling checks only, but all written content must be your own. So please write it all in your own words. So the assignment has 2 parts, and let's have a look first at Part A. So in this section, you're going to conduct 2 searches. First, you're going to search your name as you normally use it with quotation marks, and you're going to review the first 2 pages of results. Note how many results are listed before a result appears that pertains directly to you. And you may, in fact, find a lot of results that seem to incorporate your name but are not you. Maybe you've got a name that's relatively common. So you're going to see a lot of results in those first 2 pages that don't relate to you, but note if there are any that do. And when you see anything that is related to you, you're going to create a list of those URLs, those links that contain information that is directly relevant to you. And also note if there are no results about you at all in the first 2 pages. And if you don't have any results, you don't find any results from this search and the one you're going to do in a moment that I'll show you, don't worry about that. There will still be a way for you to actually do the assignment. Once you've got your results, if you looked at the first 2 pages, you've noted whether there's results about you or there aren't. Before you leave those results, please take a screenshot of the first page, even if there are no results directly relating to you. And I've explained here how you would do that. If these instructions don't work for you in terms of getting a screenshot, then just do a search online to find out how you would do that with your specific device. I only need 1 screenshot of the first page of your results. You don't need to take every single page, just the first page to show me that you actually did the search. Now, if you found results, you're going to then do D in this section. You're going to list the first 5 URLs and website addresses, the links that appear that are directly related to you. And next to each one, you're just going to describe in 1 or 2 sentences what information each one displays. You're going to be including this list of URLs and description in Part B, which I'll show you in a moment. It's okay if some of the URLs are duplicated. Just record and list the first 5 URLs that appear. And if you don't have as many as 5 results, just include whatever results you got from the search. If you have more than 5, then you only need to include the first 5. So that's the first search. The second search is to, this time, look for images. So one way that you can do this is to use Google to execute your search the way you did with search 1, put your name in quotation marks, but once your results are displayed, look for the word images across the top of the screen. Google has this option. If you look at the top, once you get the results, you can click on the images and it will show just the images that come up and eliminate just straight text links. So you'll see a display of the images related to you or that seem to have your name embedded in them. And again, they may be results that don't have anything to do with you. Again, if you have a name that's a bit common, you may find that there are a lot of results that come up, and that's okay. But look and see if there are any results that have images related to you. Scroll down as far as you can and note if any images of you appear, and if so, what site or platform are they on? What are you doing in the images? Are you in a personal or a business context? So make notes on what you find in executing this step. And again, write down the URLs, the links of the sites that have images of you. And then make sure that you put them in a list up to 5. And again, describe in one sentence, 1 or 2 sentences, what the image is about. Now you're going to use the notes you gathered in Part A from these 2 searches to complete Part B. So in this section, you're going to use the questions to write your 3-page analysis in response to the questions that are asked. If you found 3 to 5 results or more, you're going to complete Part B1. If you didn't find any results, you're going to complete Part B2, and I'll show you that in just a moment. So in Part B1, you are going to start by listing all of the results, or sorry, not all of the results, but the results that you recorded in Part A. So you were asked to, in the first search, to list the results. Could be up to 5. These are some examples of, these are just ones that I made up. This person found 3 results when they did a search for their name. And these are the 3 URLs that they found. And you can see it's very straightforward. Just put a 1 line beside each one explaining what is seen there. And by the way, these are just fake links that I made up. So these don't actually lead to anything. And you're going to do the same thing for search number 2, listing the URLs and explaining the images you found. So this part is very straightforward, but do ensure that you include a screenshot of the first page of your results. So just list the results for search 1, list the results for search 2, and add the screenshot. Very straightforward. Now we go on to questions 2 to 4, where you actually do your analysis of your results. For question 2, you're going to analyze the the impression your digital footprint would create for potential employers, identifying at least 2 positive impressions. When we go on to question 3, this is divided into 2 parts. If there are no negative impressions that could be formed from your results, let me start with 3A. First, with Part 3A, you're going to identify if there were any negative impressions from your results. So identify at least 2 negative impressions that your results might have on potential employers. Really scrutinize those results through the eyes of an employer. What do you see that might create a negative impression from someone just looking at it objectively? Now, if you feel is nothing about your digital footprint, maybe it's all very positive and there's really nothing that could be viewed negatively, then you're going to answer 3B. So you would only do 3A or 3B, not both. So 3B is to be answered if there are no items from your searches that could be viewed negatively by a prospective employer. So here you are asked to explain what approach have you taken to develop and maintain a clean and professional online footprint. Identify at least 2 clear points describing steps you've taken to develop and maintain a professional footprint. Okay, so that's what you're going to do in question 3. Now, if you've answered 3A, you've chosen 3A because there are possibly some negative results, then you would be answering 4A. If you answered 3B because your profile was fairly clean and professional, there's really nothing that could be seen negatively, then you would go on to answer 4B. So in 4A, you're going to explain how you would improve your digital footprint if you found some negative results, which you identified above in 3A. If you found no results that could make a negative impression, you can explain in 4B how will you maintain this positive footprint? What will you do to ensure that it stays clean and professional? So that's what you would do in Part B1 if you found sufficient results. Now, one thing I meant to mention previously is that if you're not sure whether you should do Part B1 or B2, then contact me and I'll help to guide you. Some students might find, let's say, 3 results, but all three are the exact same link. So it doesn't really give them very much to talk about in responding to the questions in part B1. So if you are not sure which part you should do, then just check in with me. So in part B2, this is the section you're going to answer only if you did not find online results pertaining to you when you did your searches in Part A, or you found maybe only one or two results, or even you may have found a couple more, but they were duplicating the same link. So basically, when you searched your name, no information about you was displayed, as you have not engaged in online activity that left tracks. So in part B2, you'll explain why you have little or no digital footprint and then respond to the remaining questions. In the second question, you're going to describe how an online presence could benefit your career and analyze how employers might perceive an absence of information about you online, and what are 3 steps that you might take to create a digital presence. So you're going to respond to those 4 questions if you found no results. Now, I want to emphasize here that some students stay offline and don't have a digital presence for very good reasons, and you will not be forced in this course to create one for yourself if you prefer to stay offline. However, you do need to understand the impact this can have on employers if they can't find anything about you online. So I'll be talking more about this when we begin working on the LinkedIn assignment, and there will be a workaround if you don't want to be on any social media. However, you do need to demonstrate in this section in your analysis that you understand how to create a positive online presence so you can coach your clients on this, particularly if they're targeting fields where it's essential to have a digital footprint. One thing I want to emphasize is whether you do part B1 or B2, your comments should be about your footprint and the impression it might make on prospective practicum or job employers, not comments in general about what clients should do to have a good online presence. So that's a quick overview of what you'll do in this assignment, and thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions at all, please let me know.